The biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on into the program, JJ and Alex, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday to you, everybody. We're here on the road at the warehouse, 1825 South, 300 West in Salt Lake City. You can come down, check out bigger deals than Tom has ever done. And look, a guy who's saying I'm stepping away from the business. I'm going to sell all the inventory, and then I'm just going to enjoy the rest of life without having to work every day. It's a guy with some tremendous perspective, JJ, and that's what we could use these days. A little bit of perspective to try to go, okay, what's most important, all right? And for JJ, it was to wear this Oakland A's hat because he's just such a big A's fan these days.
I think it looks good.
I actually love that. Listen, there are very few teams who have, they are in the AL West against my Mariners, and I prefer, a clean hunter green, the visitor, the away A's hat. I like the yellow, too. You think of your Raleigh Fingerses and your Dennis Eckersley's
Raleigh
and your Jose Canseco's.
Reggie Jackson, those Oakland A's uniforms.
I'm just telling you that JJ decided to go with the A's hat today, and I'm jealous of it. So, but we're at the warehouse all day today. Come down, check it out. Come down and grab some candy off the table. High five JJ, and then go over and get yourself the least expensive mattress and the best quality mattress you've ever bought. Let's get it going. All right. Our program, like I said, is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Get it today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers in the refrigerated section. Go check it out for yourself. Let's kick off the cut this hour. Listen, we're lining up guests now. It's that time of the year where we're lining up guests of teams that are going to be facing off against the local teams here. And it was last year BYU took that trip to Laramie. And, of course, the final year for Utah State to be in the Mountain West this year. And then Utah couldn't let BYU have all the fun in Laramie last year. So they're going to head out because, nothing like a Utah team taking the Greyhound.
I think Utah's soft. They didn't schedule it for November.
Well, that's where we're going to start things off here. We've had him on the program before, and we love talking all things Wyoming with Cody Tucker. He writes for 7220sports.com. Let's check in right now with Cody. It's the cut right here, top of the hour.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the program today. An incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi in the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Nobody knows cars like Doug. And nobody knows the Pokes like Cody Tucker. Cody, thanks for being on the program here with us.
Anytime, fellas. Hope all is well. It's good to hear your voices.
Yeah, we're excited about another football season. And, look, we were at Big 12 Media Days down in Dallas last week, and then Hans and Scotty were on our station. We're at the Mountain West Media Days. I would think that Mountain West Media Days had a very different vibe this year, considering all the people that are walking through there for the last time. Was it strange to have kind of the vibe with all these teams leaving and covering a different Mountain West going into this year?
You would think, and this isn't the first time I've gotten this question. It was very business as usual, and I think because it's just old news, We knew it was coming. It's not like this was anything shocking or anything. So it was kind of business as usual. Plus, it's really the ADs and the higher-ups and the presidents and stuff. The coaches all still really get along and respect each other, and I tell you what, the players had a great time hanging out with each other. It's very rare to hear Wyoming guys talk about how much fun they had hanging out with Colorado State defensive linemen and Air Force punters. So it was cool, though, man. It really didn't feel weird at all. Of course, Gloria Nevarez gets up and gives her State of the Mountain West and can't say anything anyway. So that was a big PR nothing burger, and off we went, man. No, it just wasn't weird at all.
Yeah, legally I'm not allowed to say anything, so business as usual.
Yep.
Enjoy your free lunch.
Yeah, don't look behind the curtain here. There's just a massive divorce going on behind the scenes. No problem.
Jeez.
That's it. Yeah, and she has to sit up there and talk glowingly about Boise State and San Diego State, two programs I'm sure she doesn't want to say anything nice about. But here we are.
I'm sure it gave her the ick. Well, Wyoming. Let's talk about the Pokes. Picked to finish 10th. You cover this team closely. You know the conference. Too high, too low, or just right?
Fellas, and you're probably with me on this, I think anybody who tells you they have a clue about any of this, they just don't, because there's just so many new faces and so many new players. It's very easy to say, yes, Boise State number one, and then after that, CSU replaced their entire defense. Wyoming replaced their entire defense. There's only like 3-4 returning starting quarterbacks, and it's just you just don't know because there's so much roster turnover these days. I know Jay Sawvel straight up said, you pick us 12th. I don't care. He doesn't care whatsoever, but he feels like his team's waiting in the weeds, and he feels like there's improvements across the board. And he likes to say he kept 9. He wrote a list of 10 guys he wanted to keep away from the portal, and he kept 9 of them. So he feels very confident. He was a little pissed that John Michael Gillenborg didn't get first team All Mountain West, but all in all, I voted him 8th, and my colleague in Wyoming voted him 5th. And to me, I just told Jay Sawvel I need to see it. And I think that's what you can say about almost every team in this country is I need to see it first. Last year Wyoming opened at Arizona State and got absolutely blasted, and you thought, oh, man, they just lost to the number 16 team in the Big 12, and we all saw what Arizona State did. So nobody has a clue.
One of the weirdest careers we've ever seen in college football has been Evan Svoboda, who appeared in 12 games last year, but 9 of them as the starting quarterback, and that's a guy who had, I would say mixed success, and that would probably be generous, but this is a guy who's transitioning positions. Who the heck is playing quarterback for the Pokes this year? Is it going to be this Caden Anderson kid out of Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you nailed it. Evan – it didn't help him that, Andrew Peasley on his way out the door said, hey, I've seen 3 quarterbacks that have arm talent, the elite arm talent, and that's Jordan Love, Josh Allen, and Evan Svoboda. And then you hear, Craig Bowl say, oh, Wyoming's in great shape at quarterback for the next 2 years. And then Josh Allen says, oh, Wyoming's got a kid right now that can throw the ball over the Rocky Mountains. And then to come out and throw a pick 6 on your second snap of the season, your first pass attempt, and just kind of downhill from there. It was a really rough year for Evan, but God bless the kid, man. He got it bad. He got the brunt of everything last year, and he stayed. He could have left. I mean, we're talking about a 6'5", 245-pound kid. And to his credit, he said, you know what, I just want to win, man. Where do you want me to go? And they have him at tight end, and honestly, it's not lip service. They really like him there, and he's really been making plays and making strides. So Caden Anderson, a kid, he backed up Quinn Ewers at South Lake Carroll High School and the Powerhouse High School there in the Metroplex. And, Caden tore his ACL twice in high school, was heavily recruited by the TCUs and Oklahoma States of the world, but, they didn't want to hang out with the 2 ACLs, and that's that. And Craig Bowl offered him a long time ago, and he decided to stick to it. And he kind of last year still didn't really know, his capabilities, and was still coming off the knee. And he came out against New Mexico, his first ever start, threw for 350-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and ran for another and looked great. And then the next week didn't look so good at Fort Collins. So a lot of confidence. He's a leader now. He's just in a much different role, and everybody's really confident in him. He's got a great mentality. Perfect example during that New Mexico game. He threw a pick, and next thing you know, flags are flying behind the play because he's face-to-face with a 300-pound defensive end, headbutting him and getting into it. He's got a little Favre in him, got a little gunslinger in him. So perfect mentality to be the quarterback at the University of Wyoming.
You made a great point earlier when we were talking about the polls that with the way college football is today, it's just so impossible to predict anything, or we don't even sometimes know a lot about these teams. You wrote that Wyoming has 50 new players on their roster. I know here Utah State has 86 new players in Logan.
And a new staff.
But exactly. But you also write about the fact that there is quite a bit of production back for Wyoming.
Yep.
What, based on the guys you do know about and the proven guys on this roster, who are some of those guys that Wyoming will be able to really lean on that could pose Utah some problems?
Well, you know, as always, you got to start up front. And Jack Walsh and Caden Barnett, two guys that were named All Mountain West a couple of days ago, they are the building blocks. And Wes King's another guy who's, they have 3 returning starters, pretty much 4 returning starters on the offensive front. And then you got a guy in Caden Anderson who really gained confidence down the line. And then John Michael Gillenborg, man, he's you can have me back on your show next year. He's going to be a first, second-round NFL draft pick. He's that special of a talent at tight end. If he stays healthy, he's just uncoverable. Really good player. And then, the Cowboys hung on to a couple of wide receivers last year. A guy from your neck of the woods, Jalen Sargent from Logan, Utah. He really broke out late in the year. And Chris Durr, kid out of Chicago, lightning fast, really good slot guy. And honestly, they picked up a guy named Dion DeBlock, who's a freshman wide receiver out of the Houston area. He played at a powerhouse down there called North Shore High School. And he had offers from Oregon and offers from Arizona State and Texas Tech, all those kind of programs. And he came to Wyoming because Jay Sawvel himself called him every single day and told him what a priority he was. So I think on offense, which this is the first time in a long time, fellas, that we've been able to say that in Wyoming, we're fairly confident the offense is going to be pretty good. It's all about the defense where they replace 11 guys and all the depth. So got a guy, though, Gary Rutherford, linebacker out of Big Ten country in Illinois. And actually, when the Cowboys signed him 2 years ago, they said, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea how the hell we got this guy. He's got Big Ten written all over him. And he will be a Big Ten guy. And now, unfortunately, when we say that, I mean, he literally could be a Big Ten guy next year. But really good. We actually got to watch spring practice this year as the media for the first time ever, and he stood out every practice. So a lot of missing or a lot of moving parts on that side of the ball, though. That, like I said, we haven't seen them. And anybody who tells you they know what Wyoming's defense is going to look like, they're lying.
Well, got a couple of teams, obviously, that are going to be taking on the Cowboys. And Wyoming is, I don't care what you say about, where they're at as a program. It's never an easy trip to Laramie, which is where the Utes are going to find themselves. How about this Utah team coming in? You got to probably see Devin Dampier on up close and personal. That's a guy. What is Utah getting with him? Most of the people that we've heard talking about him, we talked to him last week at Big 12 Media Days, and he bought into the Kyle Whittingham culture there at Utah, which is a huge deal that he just kind of took right to it. But what are they getting from a talent perspective with Devin Dampier, and what are they going to be facing now that they've got a couple of All-American tackles on that offensive line for Utah?
Well, first of all, fellas, don't ever tell anybody I said this, but give Utah credit. They were supposed to come here during the COVID year. It could have been very easy to say, never mind, we dodged that bullet. We're not going to Laramie. We're not playing this game ever again. We're not coming. And they're still doing it. And I also don't tell anybody I gave BYU credit for coming last year as well. But Devin Dampier is I did a story about him this week in Las Vegas, and Coach Sawvel said, I was hoping like hell we were done with that guy. I mean, he's just electric, almost impossible to bring down. He on 12 attempts gashed the Cowboys for 207 yards on the ground last year in Albuquerque, 85-yard touchdown run, just a phenomenal athlete. And he actually kind of had his coming out party in Laramie the year prior. They put him in the third quarter, and we were like, man, New Mexico might rally here. I mean, he's a dynamic player. He made one mistake in that game, and he threw a pick six in the third quarter. But I was joking with Bronco Mendenhall this a couple days ago, and I said, that's on you, buddy. What the hell are you doing throwing the ball anyway? You're up by 10. You just ran for 400 yards on the Cowboys. They can't stop you, and you throw the ball. And it turned into a pick six, and Wyoming actually came back to win that game in Albuquerque. But special player, and it was one where it was like, oh, good. Glad he's leaving New Mexico. Now it turns out Wyoming's not playing New Mexico this year, and he lands at Utah. So, and him and Jason Beck, innovative, scary, really scary duo. And, you look at we have obviously a lot of respect for Utah, and you don't figure they're going to be down for long. And I think they found their dude. He's special.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do with two All-American offensive tackles there with that offensive line at Utah. I'm curious to know and hear how do you gauge how Wyoming football fans feel about Jay Sawvel?
Well, generally not great, and I think the only reason I say that is because they were, just had Craig Bowl for a decade, and Craig Bowl, you got what you got. You knew you were going to win 7 games a year. You knew you were going to beat Colorado State. I think Jay's got a lot of really unfair criticism. Last year was rough, man, but when your quarterback doesn't pan out, you're behind the 8 ball immediately. And if you want to look at the glass half full, the Cowboys were like 16 points away from being a 7-win football team. What I think you need to point to, fellas, is Caden Anderson doesn't go down in that last game at home against Boise State. Boise State might not have made the college football playoff. The Cowboys were playing the Broncos that tough. They only lost that game by 4, I believe, anyway, and played lights out in that game even with Evan Sabota. And then Evan making a spot start because of an injured Caden Anderson. They go into Pullman in the last game of the year against John Mateer, and you think, man, they might have, blown everything they had trying to beat Boise State last week. I mean, this could be a 35-0. Let's get the hell out of Pullman and go home and lick our wounds and get set for next year. Instead, they came back and won a game and beat Washington State on the road in a game they probably had no business even being in, but they didn't give up. And I just think it speaks volumes, man. The players love this coach, and the fans around here I think just got used to the 7 wins and Craig Bowl. And then another thing that didn't help him is Tim Polasek, the offensive coordinator, goes on to North Dakota State and takes that job and wins a national title in Fargo. And the narrative for a minute there is the Cowboys signed the wrong coordinator, and I don't think that's true. I think Jay's a great coach, and the players love him. And I think in today's age, you need a players coach more than ever, and he is an absolute players coach, and they just love him to death. And they're going to go into Pullman post Thanksgiving and win a ball game for you when you're a 3-win football team.
Since it's one of those things too, where you have, Utah State getting a new coaching staff, like we were talking about. What were your thoughts on Bronco in year 1 there for New Mexico? And then what do you think that Utah State's getting with him? We obviously got to cover him very closely when he was here at BYU. So we know the type of guy we're getting out of him. But it's like Bronco 3.0. It's like a different perspective Bronco, like a more mature, grown-up Bronco. Not that he was ever immature, right? But at the same time, like Bronco, what is Utah State getting for a head coach and a staff up there in a place that needed some stability?
Yeah, man, he's perfect for that. He's steady Eddie. I know he wanted to be in Utah. I actually caught part of his interview this week where he doesn't even want to – he straight up said, I don't want to go play in Albuquerque this year, and the Aggies have to go to Albuquerque. And he said, I really don't want to be there. I know that they're mad at me. And, he felt bad. But he had a team that was one blown fourth-quarter lead against Wyoming and one blown fourth-quarter lead against Montana State from taking them and making them a 7-win team and a bowl team. New Mexico was not good. And Devin Dampier, as good as he is, he couldn't do it by himself. And I thought that was a huge step in the right direction for New Mexico. And I feel the same way at Utah State. I mean, Bronco's been an absolute nightmare for the Cowboys. In fact, his first loss ever to Wyoming was last year in Albuquerque. And he's just a great coach, a great motivator, a great human being. I'll admit that was the first time I ever talked to him the other day, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's an emotional guy and a truthful guy and an honest guy, and I think that's going to go a long way with kids. And he's a Utah dude. He's meant to be there, and I think he's going to do wonders at Utah State. Unfortunately, but he's going to do wonders there. He's a great human being.
Well, I guess the Cowboys don't really care after 2025 anyway, right?
Well, I was going to say they don't even face them in football this year. So.
That's a bummer. Yeah, the Aggies and Cowboys don't get to play this year. They got to put that rifle away.
Yeah, no doubt. And Utah State owns it after a walk-off last year in Laramie. Utah State, I did a lot of the Wyoming players this year have mentioned how bad that one hurt. So they're not happy that they don't get a chance to get the rifle back.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's weird.
It's
we're
weird.
still.
I hate it.
Anytime we're going to be talking about Wyoming and the Cowboys, and anytime that comes up, and I do love that a guy from Wyoming had to admit, you got to hand it to Utah. Pull that clip and play it for eternity. You know what I mean? Just like, let's get that thing going. Cody Tucker, 7220 Sports. You can find his byline there. Cody, thanks as always, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate you.
There you go. Cody Tucker. He always has a good time. Enjoys his job too much. How dare he?
He's good at it.
Man, the Pokes, I'm telling you, it's a weird spot for them to be in. To have all these rivalries walking away from you after decades. And
hey, there's still New Mexico. They still have the Lobos. Even Colorado State is gone. You don't understand. There's two. Well, so I'm from Wyoming.
Yeah. I know the vitriol.
I grew up back in the day in the WAC and then into the Mountain West.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like, I grew up thinking that Wyoming was BYU's rival. And in the 80s and 90s, that was true because Utah wasn't very good in the 80s.
Yeah.
Wyoming won WAC championships in the 80s, back-to-back during BYU's glory years.
They almost stole that one in 96 from them, frankly.
Yes, they did. And, some Wyoming fans aren't over it, the way that some things went in that game.
What, was there a fifth down in there?
There was some things that went on that were –
right.
Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is what I'm going to say is to know how things used to be back then and to see where it is now, it's kind of sad. And – we had the Wayne from UCLA on yesterday.
Wayne Cook.
Wayne Cook.
Yeah.
And he talked about how a lot of the older UCLA fans are really struggling with where things are right now because they missed the good old days. And it's this weird – everything is different. Nothing makes sense. Everything's changed so much you don't recognize the old college football. And a lot of that stuff with Wyoming, BYU, Utah, all those things, they're gone.
Right.
In fact, Wyoming's not even going to play Utah State anymore. Wyoming's not even going to play their main rival CSU anymore. That's
crazy.
Weird.
That's bad. And it's not going to be the first rivalry that's going to go away because of realignment. But
they're 60 miles away. 45 miles away.
Yeah, I hate those guys. All right. We have tickets to give away on a Free Ticket Friday coming up around the corner. We have much more to chat about. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be talking with Chandler Holt, who covers the Jazz and does the Jazz Notes podcast. And we're also going to be chatting with Bob Casper in just a few minutes. So stay right here with us, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This Open Championship update is brought to you by Mountain Land Supply, Zions Bank, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Siegfried and Jensen. And now, Real Golf Radio's Bob Casper.
You can nominate the Youth Sports Volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week Award. How do you do that? Well, you just go to KSLSports.com/contest, and you can write it down. Get that nomination in on that youth sports volunteer that does a phenomenal job in your neighborhood. We've all got that person who goes the extra mile for our kids. JJ, we've talked about it a million times. You and I, we've got busy evening-based jobs, and so coaching is not really part of the equation sometimes.
It's tough to be there, tough to do it consistently, and I'm glad that there's people out there that can do it.
And it's not just the coaching; it's the team moms, it's the people who set up all the things for the teams. It's just they do awesome. You can nominate that person; they get a prize from Hercules Credit Union and Beehive Meals, who are the sponsors of the Hercules Hero of the Week. Joining us on the program right now as we look at this leaderboard from the Open Championship Royal Portrush. This one's a difficult one. Unless your name's Scotty Scheffler, Bob Casper joining us on the program. Bob, JJ already wants to know if this thing's over. I have higher hopes for a more competitive weekend here.
Well, it's not over yet because there's still 36 holes to play. But, Scotty Scheffler is definitely the cream of the crop. He's the number one player in the world. He understands what to do when you get in situations with majors and how to win golf tournaments. He's got a phenomenal caddy on his bag in Ted Scott, and he's just playing phenomenal golf right now. Strokes gained, he's off the charts. He's beaten the rest of the field, the middle part of the field by over 12 shots. He's beating the middle part of the field by 6 shots with his approaches to greens and another 6 shots by in his putting. He's just doing a lot of good things right. He's doing what he does, and that's play boring golf, hitting fairways, hitting greens, and then taking advantage of opportunities when he has to make birdies.
So what can get in the way? There's within these last 36 holes, because you're right. He's only one shot ahead, but
Yes.
it just feels we just have so much confidence in him right now, the way he's playing, how dominant he is, that it's hard to see him not finish this off.
Well, it is. I definitely think that he is the guy that that should finish this off. But again, 36 holes, and things can happen quickly. Weather. They're not expecting high winds or anything like that, which means that guys that are further back could catch some lightning in a bottle and shoot some great scores. Scotty shot 63 today. And Matthew Fitzpatrick shot 65. You get guys that are a little bit further back, like Rory or whatever, and they shoot 65 on the weekend. A guy could win doing that as well. So it's not only the players in the field, but it's the golf course. And this is a golf course where you got to hit fairways, you got to hit greens, and if you start hitting a little bit crooked and getting it sideways a little bit and hitting a bunch of those pot bunkers or in the rough or whatever, then you're going to make some numbers. But Scotty's the best at driving the ball, which is about middle of the field right now as far as accuracy and everything. But his approaches to the greens and his putting are phenomenal right now.
Bob, Tony's having a great go. Tony Finau,
Yes.
A guy who I think we look at and we go, yeah, his putting hasn't been there for him. He hasn't been super consistent, and yet he's had his name in a couple of these bigger tournaments up toward the front end of the leaderboard, at least in that top quarter. And to go for a 68 today, he was 1 under yesterday. He's at 4 under for the tournament. He's tied for 10th, but the reality is that this is some of the best golf he's played all year.
Yeah, he's in touch. He's 6 or 7 shots back right now, but he's still in touch. Tony, I spoke with him about, probably 8 to 10 days ago, and I saw him at Alpine Country Club, and we were chatting, and, how are you feeling? How you playing? And he was going, Bob, I'm playing really well right now. And so the other thing is this golf course at Royal Portrush, Tony, it's best finish in the British Open. He finished 3rd in the British Open there in 2019. So you get feelings when you come to a golf course where you've played well before, kind of, and you know that I can play well here, and that's what he's doing. I mean, he's in the positive in all of his stats as far as strokes gained are concerned. And yeah, he probably hasn't made as many putts this week or whatever, but you know what? He's 4 under par, and he's got a chance. He's moving up the leaderboard. He moved up at least 10 spots today after the second round, and he can get himself right in the. He's tied for 10th right now, but he could get himself in the top 5 pretty easy, and see what happens from there. The important thing about this, and the important thing about this week for Tony, is he needs to go out and he needs to play well the next 2 days. He doesn't need one of those mediocre rounds where he shoots a couple over par and drops down the field. He needs to play well the next 2 days, get himself in the top 10, top 5, because you get double Ryder Cup points this week because it's a major, and that will move him up the Ryder Cup points list, getting ready to play in the playoffs. And now currently he's just outside the top 50 in playoffs in FedEx Cup points. Top 70 gets into the first event. He needs to get inside that top 50 so that he gets in at least the first 2, and then move himself into the top 30 so he gets the Tour Championship. His play, as you said, is a little bit off this year, but you know what? It can all be righted, and it can all get a lot better with 2 good rounds the next 2 days, and having a chance possibly to coming down the stretch, even contending to win a golf tournament.
It's great to see Tony playing well this week.
Yeah.
I had another question about Scotty, though.
Okay.
If he finishes this off, it would make 3 of the 4 majors he's won.
Correct.
Before the age of 30. He's dominating. Where would this place him historically if he's able to finish this off and at this stage of his career at that age?
Well, with the track that his career is on right now, it would place him, Jack Tigerish level. Having those, Jordan Spieth did very similar thing with getting 3. Now he just has to get the PGA Championship to get the career Grand Slam. If Scotty goes on to win this golf tournament, then he just has to get the U.S. Open. He's played. I think Brian and I were talking about that. He in the U.S. Open, I think he is 50-50 top 10s right now in the U.S. Open, and he's never missed a cut in a U.S. Open. And he's got Shinnecock, he's got Pebble Beach, he's got Wingfoot. Those are the next 3, and then again Pinehurst. So those are the next 4. And you would think that on a roll as good as he's playing and what he's doing with his game, that he could do something like that possibly before the age of 30. And then he would be in rarefied air like with Tiger Woods. The other thing is that because he does not put so much weight on his golf and make it rule or affect his life, like he talked about earlier in the week, his priority is his family and taking care of his family and his faith. That's his priority. Because he doesn't put that much weight on golf, and it doesn't, and he doesn't die with a win or a loss. He hates when he loses. Don't get me wrong, and he loves to practice and he loves to compete. But because he doesn't put that much weight on it, I think it's easier for him, and he takes a lot of the stress off of his shoulders in doing that.
I mean, and Alex were talking earlier. Has he ever had a meltdown that you can remember where just he was in control and then around down the stretch on a Sunday everything went wrong? I can't think of it. To your point, he's just so dialed in. He's in everything. He's just cool as a cucumber.
Well, the cool thing about Scotty is that he seems to get himself. He progresses through a tournament, through the course of rounds in a tournament. When he can get himself from, what was he, one shot back after the first round. Then he goes out and he shoots a good round, and now he's leading after 36 holes, and he's got a one-shot lead. When he can progress his way along, whether it's after the second round or the third round, and get into contention and be leading the golf tournament, Scotty gets it done. He understands how to get it done, and he does it the way that the greats do it. They don't do anything spectacular. They don't do anything flashy. They go along and hit fairways and hit greens and then take advantage of opportunities when they have a chance to make birdie.
Bob Casper, you're going to get the breakdowns tomorrow from he and Brian Taylor, of course. Will be a good chunk through that third round. You'll be able to hear their thoughts on how these guys are playing so far. Real Golf Radio right here on the KSL Sports Zone every Saturday morning. Bob, thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it.
You bet, guys. Take care. Thanks.
There you go.
Thanks, Bob. Enjoy the weekend.
Bob Casper. Billy Casper won a Masters, 2 U.S. Opens, tied for second 4 times at the PGA Championship. Best finish was 4th in 1968 at the Open Championship at Carnoustie, which is one of the old courses. Behind, I think the list was, I for sure I know that Gary Player won that event, and I think he finished behind Jack Nicklaus too. So I was like, those are the guys you had to beat back in the day if you wanted to win a major.
Best of the best.
So if you're wondering about Scotty Scheffler, by the way, this is his best round that he's ever had at a major, what he had today. A 7-under for a round at
64
at the
Royal
Open
Port Rush.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
On a links course. When we were all questioning whether he could win a major on a links course.
Right.
He's answering that question. To Bob's point, he just continues to have one accomplishment after another and dominate in ways that we haven't seen since Tiger Woods.
All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We'll chat with our guy Tom Curl coming up in just a little bit at the warehouse. We've also got a top 10 you don't want to miss. I've got a fun one for JJ to play right along with, and you can too. Play right along from home. It's definitely one you can participate in. Just yell at your radio or at your podcasting.
Scream
platform.
really loud. Hopefully I can help. I can hear you.
No.
I need your help.
JJ will still struggle. All right, more to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program. Oh, our producer Alex just told me we've got some stuff to give away. We got some tickets, a free ticket Friday, right? Free ticket Friday. Free the tickets. No, you get them
free now. Who are we getting? What old band from the 90s are we going to give people a chance to see?
No. This is the Dierks Bentley tickets for July 31st. So let's go. Call number 12 right now. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. You can play along wherever you are. You can give us a call, and you can win those tickets right now. Speaking of playing along, before we get to Tom Curl here at the warehouse, it's our top 10 game. How does a top 10 game work, JJ? Well, I give you 60 seconds. I've got a topic for you. You've not been known of the topic beforehand.
That's true.
Our producer, Alex, hits the button, and then we get this thing going. You got 60 seconds to complete the full top 10 here. Today's
and we're videoing this so I can show everybody on video.
Hey, look.
I'm putting the laptop covered down.
It's proven he's not a cheater.
I don't have a phone in my hand.
Proven he's not a cheater.
I have nothing. No notes.
Only because he's being filmed. So here's what we're going to do. We'll start the timer. We'll get the top 10 going. You can play right along. You can yell it from wherever you're listening from. But today's topic, JJ, is mascots in FBS college football.
Okay.
And when I say mascots, I mean there are multiple. There are 52 teams that share at some point some mascots on there. So I've got the top mascots.
Okay.
The most that are used across all of college. And so and this is just FBS football. So I don't want you to go too deep into this thing. But I've got it right here in front of me. Without further ado, let's get the timer going at the board in Salt Lake City. Top 10 mascots shared across college football. Ready, JJ, go.
Cougars, Tigers,
Ding,
Bears.
ding,
Did I get Bears?
No, Bears.
No?
No
Lions.
Bears.
Oh, man. Wolverines. Some type of horse. Broncos.
Oh, close.
No Broncos?
No.
I know multiple Broncos.
There
That's
are
impossible.
multiple Broncos. It's the ones. It's about sharing how many. It's
how
the
many
top
the total.
Shared.
All
Yes.
right. Huskies.
Top shared. Ding,
Bulldogs.
Ding.
Tom, you can help me. Throw one out. Trojans.
Ding.
Man.
See, with the timer going, you're struggling.
It's definitely not going to be Tar Heels. Can't do that one. Wolves? Oh, this is disappointing. Yeah, I'm running through names right now.
You got a good chunk so far.
Okay.
You're not all the way there, though.
I don't feel terrible.
What was it?
Rams? Cowboys.
Ding. No, wait. Cowboys. Just outside.
What?
Just outside the top 10.
Grizzlies.
Time's up. Time is up, my guy.
This
so
did
sorry.
not go well for me.
You did okay. You ready for this?
I should have got 10 out of 10.
Top 10. Number 1, Tigers. Number 2, Bulldogs. Number 3, Wildcat. Number 4 is a tie between Aggies, Cougars, and Eagles.
Aggies, Cougars, and Eagles.
Okay.
Aggies is one.
How
did I not think of that?
Did you not say Cougars? I thought you said
I
Cougars.
definitely said Cougars.
Okay, so you said
I did
Cougars.
not say Wildcat, which is disappointing.
Wildcat
and
is,
I should have said Aggie because we got an Aggie here in Utah.
We have Aggies here in Utah.
I'm sorry, Utah.
Huskies also in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place with the Husky. Owls with 3.
That made the top 10?
It made the top 10. Absolutely.
Temple, FAU. Who else?
Can't say FAU
Rice.
on the radio. Rice Owls, you got it.
That's
all right,
3.
So there you go.
Okay, I get it.
And then to round it out, the Panthers and Bobcats.
Bobcats?
There you go. There's your top 10.
Montana State. Who else is a Bobcat?
Texas State for sure.
Ah, that's right.
Don't know who the other ones are. There you go. There's your top 10 for today. We're going to be joined by Tom Curl right now at the warehouse. You shouldn't feel like you failed. Come on. I thought you did pretty darn good. 60%, that's what got you through college.
This feels condescending right now. Very condescending. I'll come ready next Friday.
Hold on, I did want to bring one up though, Tom. Here are some of the fun. Here are the ones that were not on the list, or that were at the very bottom of the list. So Broncos was there, but they were 11th. They were tied for 11th. Bulls, Broncos, Cardinals, Cowboys. Those are all tied for 11th. Then you've got Falcons, Mountaineers. You have two Mountaineers, which are West Virginia
and App State.
Yes, of course.
Seminoles, no.
No, just one Seminole.
That's my point. So
Yeah,
they've got to be at the bottom of the list.
It's on the list, just boop, down to the bottom. And then Rebels, Spartans, and Trojans to round it out.
Well, I thought we were
there.
talking about the worst now.
Well, that's not the worst. These are just the most that have the multiples.
Okay.
There are multiple.
So the bottom of the list
right.
is multiples.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so if you have a singular one, we could do Division III sports at one point.
Applaud them for their uniqueness.
I'm in a wheelchair now. I'm a little bit slower than I used to be.
All right, more to go around the corner. When we return, we're going to have Chandler Holt come on. Give us a little bit of a breakdown on how the Summer League has gone for the Jazz and how things, as they wrap up Summer League play and get into camp and get into then the preseason in the fall, how this team's looking. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.